Welcome to the editing video. We're actually going to learn how to edit and make and alter some of these objects to make it a little more interesting, and where you can make things yourself rather than just loading in a pre-made object, and a cube might be getting kind of boring at this time. So we're going to get rid of all of these things on the screen. We're going to start with a whole different deal. So I'm going to press the letter A. And you notice that the gold outline disappeared around the cube. I'm going to press the letter A again. Now when you press A a second time, it selects every single object in your scene. So I don't want any of those. I'm going to press the letter X and I'm going to delete them, and we have now deleted all three of those. Again, that was pressing the letter A twice to select everything. I'm going to add a new object, and that was Shift A. Now I'm going to add a torus. We're going to grab a torus because there's a whole lot of things we can do with it. If you look down kind of close, you zoom in, we can see that there's a lot of different faces, a lot of different squares that make up the outside. It's all the way around. Each of those, when they come together at the corners, those are vertices, and we're going to actually play a little bit with those faces, the vertices, and different things. We're going to use what's called the edit mode. There's two different ways we can switch from edit mode to object mode. Right now we have one object. If I press the letter G, I can move that entire object around, but I can't change it. I can change the size with scale, but I can't really change the exact shape. I can't make it longer, oval, oblong. I can't pull little faces out. I can't turn it into a flying saucer. I can't squish it. I can't do any of those kind of things. So I'm going to press the Tab button. So once your object is selected, I press the Tab button. You want to go back to object mode, press the Tab button again. But I want to edit, and another way that you could get to the edit mode is click down here on this pull up menu, and we're going to switch from object mode to edit mode. Now there's some different things that are going on here. We'll get to those another time, but for right now, let's just switch to the edit mode. When you get here, you notice that everything is selected. We don't want everything right now. I'm going to press the letter A, and that deselects everything. Nothing should be selected. So it's all the gray color, all the block gray at the beginning. We'll show you how to make different colors another time, but not just yet. In this mode, down towards the bottom in the middle, watch where the cursor is down here. If I click on this one, now I can go ahead and click on just the vertex. And if I go ahead and I grab that, I can switch that out, and I can begin to change my shape. I can edit it to be any kind of a point or anywhere. I can even take it and make it go inside, so I can change that around. Now if I don't like something, I'm like, oh, I don't want to get it all the way back to the very beginning, I can press Control Z. Control Z takes it back one step at a time. You can work your way backwards to the original spot that you had that selected from. Now if we come back down here to our vertex selector, we can click on the line selector or the edge selector. That's going to select one of these edges. If I go ahead and select that one, I can click on my button here, and I can go ahead and I can drag that up. I can move it to the side. You know, we can bring it out as some sort of a spiky little deal, or as a maybe even do some scaling on it, because at this point I have that one edge selected. I can press the letter edge to S to scale, and I can scale that edge up really large, and I can make the back of a or a side of a wing, or maybe the back tail of a fish, or however it is you want to build it into being. And once I get done with that one edge, I can select another edge, and I can even do the same thing with that. I can click on the S and I can scale it down, or I can scale it up really big, or I can, while it's selected, I can right click and it puts it right back where it was. So I can do some very interesting things in just a few clicks, and that's just one of these edges on here. And I'm going to go ahead and press Control Z. I'm going to back up a little ways. I'm going to get that back where it was. And we're going to select down here, not the vertex or the edge, we're going to select the face. So now I'm going to click on the face, and now you see all the dots are in the middle of the faces. So I can click on any of these faces, and I can go ahead and press the letter G, and I can move that face right out there. Or I'm going to press Control Z, move it back, or I can grab the red X arrow, and I can draw that out right along the X axis, and I'll move it straight out there. You can always turn your pan around to see exactly what it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and do Control Z, take that back. And this is also kind of fun when you, like what we did with the edge, we scaled the edge and we made some different shapes out of that. I'm going to go ahead and grab this, and I'm going to press the letter G. I'm going to bring that out a ways, and again, we can take a look at that, and we can get it exactly where we want it. If we wanted it right in that kind of a line right in there, but we've got it out there. And if we wanted to take the edge of it, make it a little more spiky if we wanted to, we could press S, and we could scale that down into a little small point that comes off the side. We can give it a little bit of an angle. We could go ahead and move it over this way, however you want it to be. I'm going to back up a couple steps to where it's out here, and I want it to go back to the original. We can also press S, and we can make it even larger to, maybe it's a docking port on a space capsule or something, and it reaches out to connect with another object. So we can actually make lots of different things happen at this point. This can go ahead and turn into our own shape, and we can make it very interesting. I'm going to go ahead and press Control Z, take this back, and put it back together again like it was. There's one more editing I will show you in this one video. That is the E key. That is to extrude. I'm going to press the E key, and it takes it straight out. You notice that it's not connected to any of the other shapes around it. It just entirely brings straight out that rectangular prism, and I can even stop it at that point, and I can press E again, and that will take it all the way out again. So I can add more extrudes and more extrudes if I wanted to. So it's very interesting. You can actually take them, and now we can kind of build a hallway coming up, or a ramp or a chute or something that can be connected with something else. I can press E and extrapolate that out a little bit, extrude it out, that is. I can bend it down, I can press E, I can take it through here. I can start doing a whole lot of neat things. So I can make something very interesting coming off of this shape at this point in time. Maybe even little spider legs to begin with. We'll have to work with that another time though, but very interesting. I'm going to go ahead and press Shift Z, and I am going to take it all the way back in. But now, extrude was E, and that's different than just grabbing this shape like G and bringing it out. See how it grabbed all the other shapes and it left it connected with that face, and it made something a little bit different. But when I did the E, that was the extrude, and it just took out one square at a time. I'm going to Shift C all the way back to the beginning. Now this is my whole entire torus here, and if we wanted to make this into an oval, I'm going to go straight down, and remember how we selected a bunch of things a little while ago? I pressed the B key. I'm going to go ahead and select everything on this side. Now not everything selects from top to bottom. You see I have one that's just kind of hanging out over there. I'm going to look to the side. Oh, look at that. It didn't take those. But you see these ones are all selected. Now I could actually take the arrow key and I could move up a whole bunch at one point. So I can actually grab a whole bunch of things and move them up. Or I can go ahead and Shift Z. I can actually press the E key here and extrude them all. They go straight up. So there's a lot of things that you can do real quickly when you select a whole group of items. You can change them pretty fast. I'm going to Control Z and head those back where they belong. But at this point, what I want to do is select all of 1/2 of this torus. So I'm going to press the B key again. I'm going to go ahead and drag that down through there. And it looks like everything's selected, but you always change your perspective. You never just look at it in one direction. You take a good pan around to make sure that you've got what you want. I'm going to go ahead and press B again. That's the B key. And I'm going to go ahead and select all of those. Now you can see I've almost got everything selected. I can, and then I just have to do a couple more of these and we'll get it all taken care of here. Now if I went ahead and I pressed the B key here, it's going to select everything in the front and behind, and I didn't want that. So I'm going to press Control Z and get back to this point. So I'm just going to select it from the side. And I'm going to go ahead and press B, and we'll get a couple more of those. Looks like there's a few more there. I'm going to come at it from a slightly different angle, press the B key, and we're just going to keep adding in all of the, we have one tiny one left. So we're going to go ahead and B key that and get all that done. So notice I've got them on the inside are gold, the outside, the top, and the bottom are gold. So I'm going to look at it from the top here. And I'm going to go ahead and move this out to the side, and you can see that all of it is actually being pulled out. So I'm taking and I'm changing the entire shape. In fact, once I get it to about in there-ish, it almost looks like a chain has been made, like one link in a chain, a nice little oval of something, or it could be any number of things depending on what we need to build in our animation to make it really cool. So at this point we've used a bunch of different keys. I'm going to go ahead and Control Z that back to the original spot where we were at, and I'm going to undelete everything. I could press A and delete and select everything, or I can just press A and not select everything. So here's the keys that we went over today. We went over a bunch of them. We went from edit mode to object mode and back, so we can select it in this menu. Here's my object. I can press G, move it around. But I want to change it. I want to edit it. So I'm going to go back in and click to edit mode, or I can use the tab button. Press tab, object mode, press tab, edit mode. Now I'm going to go ahead and select a vertex. And once you select a vertex, you can go ahead and move it by G and take it and drag it out. You can go ahead and grab the edge key, and you can go ahead and bring that all the way out. You can do a bunch of different things that you'd like to with that. To make things a little bit different, I can also press the S key and combine some things, and now I'm making it wider. Maybe there's your wing or a butterfly wing or something that you're making off of there, or something pretty cool. Looks almost like a Q. So what I'd like you to do at this time is use some of these different things to go ahead and make your own shape. Get an interesting looking shape made, and go ahead and screenshot that and turn it in for your assignment. So there's several keys we used. G to move things, S to make things scale up bigger or smaller, Control Z where we moved back a step, and you can press Control Z to get back to where you want it to be at the very beginning. And we also used the E key to where I could grab something like this rectangle, this square here, and I can go ahead and press E, and I can extrude that all the way out. So we can make a very interesting shape. So take a little bit of time, make your own shape doing some very interesting things. So have a good time. Don't forget, get into the edit mode first. All right, have a good time with it, guys.